What time is it? Let me check my watch. Oh, it's bone o'clock. In olden days, a glimpse of femur was only for morbid dreamers, but you're not alone. Bring anything bones. Two goofy gals with deathly interest go on a skeleton inquest in your headphones. Anything bones.
Hello and welcome to Anything Bones. I'm Sophie Schwartz.
And I'm Katelyn Hart.
This is I think it didn't like how loud you got.
No, my microphone was like, girl, please stop.
Calm it down, bitch.
My microphone goes red when I go too loud, and it's like a little punishment for me.
Yeah, it says no audio for you. You've gone too loud.
Yeah.
You rowdy bitch.
Yeah, stop laughing at the top of your lungs. Your neighbors hate you and I hate you too.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding. I've never gotten a complaint, but I don't know.
I don't know. I've never been your neighbor. I always enjoy the sound of your twinkling laughter.
Thank you. How are you? What's up? Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Well, I talked to my mom this morning over in Jordan, and she's doing great. She's fighting that COVID with two hands, punching it in the face. But other than that, she's doing great. It's nice to see her. She, doesn't live in the States, so it was hard to send something to her and, hard to meet up with her, but it's always great to talk. We have long FaceTime conversations.
That's so cute. Yeah, it's amazing. The work she does is incredible too.
Yeah. Shout out to all our diplomats working hard abroad to keep Americans safe.
Yeah, exactly. Amen. Well, I have to tell you, it's been a little bit of a long weekend, it's like I said, it's Mother's Day. So being the vaccinated person that I am and my family's vaccinated, I went down and celebrated Mother's Day, and I partied a little too hard.
Oh,
and
no.
I don't have anything prepared today.
Oh, Katelyn, you don't have anything prepared for the show?
No, I'm just going to provide some light banter and I'll play devil's advocate a lot. I know how we like to do that. And
yes, we love to disagree on this show.
I'd like to just sing and talk about, whatever you want. But I got nothing.
Sure. Oh, well, shame on you. I know how, but I do know how you and your mom like to party it up hardcore, so I don't blame you.
Mother's Day is definitely the drunkest holiday. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm completely kidding.
It goes, if we were to do a top 3, starting at 3, St. Patrick's Day, then Cinco de Mayo, then Mother's Day. Pow, 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 pow. Get the vodka because mommy's thirsty.
Yeah, that's how we do it. And no, I'm just kidding.
The Hart family.
What are we talking about? My failures?
They're bone related, so fair game. No, we are not talking about Katelyn's bone-related failures. Luckily for you, I've prepared 12 pages of research for this episode, so you can have half of it.
Hey!
But I did prepare your research for you. I picked a topic for you, and our topics are slightly related, but I don't want to tell you what you're talking about just yet. But I will go first to make you feel comfortable.
Yeah, I'd like that.
You settle in. Sleep off that hangover a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my nose.
I'll take a sip of this.
I gotta scroll all the way to the bottom because I put your shit at the top. Like an idiot. All right. So I'll say my sources really quickly, get them off at the top here. We have an article from welcomecollection.org, Atlas Obscura, Un jour plus Paris, Bonjour Paris, and that's it.
Something French. I like it already.
Something French is going to happen.
Merci.
Yeah, you speak a little bit of French.
I I've taken 5 years of French class.
Damn.
Like 1 year in middle school, 4 years of high school. Do I know it now? Absolutely not. But I kind of can understand it better than I can speak it. So let's go.
Let's go. Okay. So Paris in the 1800s was a hoppin' and happening place. The city was becoming more social and the social structures less divided. So more people were socializing with people of different classes than themselves, which was new for the time because, as we know, Europe has always been stratified by class, as the whole world is. So people of all ages and classes were hanging out together on the streets of Paris and hanging out in its local attractions. And no place was more fashionable or exciting to socialize than the Paris Morgue. Let's fucking go.
Sorry. Excuse me.
Yes, bitch, get your bustle on. We're going to the morgue.
In the 1800s, you said?
Yeah.
In Paris? Okay.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared.
As you should be. So the morgue first opened its doors to the public in 1804 on the, I think this is Champs-Élysées.
I'd have to see it to tell you. I'm sorry.
And I can't show you this document.
I know. You're on your own.
I'm on my own, bitch.
Yeah. Could you type it in the you could type it in the chat.
I could type it in the chat.
If you really want to know.
No, it's got special characters. I wouldn't know how to do that. Goodbye. So that was the first morgue. And then it was moved and made larger and put in a building behind Notre Dame in 1864. And that's where it is right now, the memorial for it. So the location of the morgue was no accident. It was in the epicenter of Paris. It was right next to the Seine. And it was a great place to both receive the dead and those who were alive. The purpose of this was because many of the bodies that were picked out of the river or off the streets were almost unidentifiable. So what they did is open up the morgue to the public in hopes of identifying these people.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what the motives were. Was it like, let's watch these people dissect dead people? Is it more of an attraction, or no? It was more like, help identify these unidentified people.
Yeah. And as many good things start as practical and, and couth, they often become unpractical and uncouth. Because the morgue may have existed to help friends and family find lost and deceased loved ones, but honestly, a lot of people came just for the looking. Just to see the dead up close, and the more grisly and gruesome a body was heard to be, the more people it would attract. So, I would roll up to your house on a nice Saturday afternoon and say, Mademoiselle Katelyn, I was wondering if you would accompany me to the morgue to see a guy who's had his arm shot off.
And I would tell you, yes, I'm not doing anything today. Bonjour, allons-y, let's go.
Bonjour, bitch, let's go.
No, I mean, it's hard because I want to shame people for looking at dead bodies and crime and stuff. But I think if I was in that situation where there was, nothing to do, first off, and you were just kind of sitting around reading or socializing or fucking eating baguettes, I would probably be one of the bitches that went to the morgue to just be a looking booth.
Oh, you would find me there, because bitch, this place is open 7 days a week and it's free to get in.
Nice.
So dead bodies were displayed on these marble slabs behind glass, and they were exposed for several days, and there was a little bit of water dripping on them, and it was damp and it was cold and it was gross. But the morgue was the place to see and be seen. It was, if you had a great new outfit, you know where you would wear it? The morgue. So that everyone could come and see you.
The phrase, the be seeing and being seen at the morgue is just so weird. That's just such a weird sentence.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's so crazy.
It's so crazy. Well, we'll get into this in a little bit, a couple lines down, but I'll mention it here. This reminds me a lot of theater in this time, because theater, a lot of the reason that you would go to theater is to see and be seen. You would go to see the play, sure, but really, if you were a person of higher status, you would either be sitting, in these box seats, which don't provide an awesome view of the stage. You get kind of a weird side view of the stage, but everyone has a view of you. Right. And that's the fucking point, right?
That's what theater's all about.
No. I mean, can you relate? If I had a new outfit, in the before times, my favorite place to show off a new outfit was going to see, a show a friend of mine was in, or if I was in a show after the performance, I'd change to my hot outfit and be like, I was being funny before, but I'm hot now.
Exactly. It's definitely, it's a thing. And it's sad that theater's coming back though. Did you see that video of the Come From Away cast walking into work at the theater, and people were like cheering because they're coming back to work? Broadway's coming back.
If I stepped into a theater right now and was in a play and was told that I was okay and ready to go and you can do this play, I think I'd break down and cry.
I don't know when we'll get on a stage again, but hopefully we will. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, back to the morgue. Get inside.
Back to the morgue. We got on a slight theater history tangent, which we're allowed to do as theater majors, former theater majors. God.
Yeah. Shout out to Sarah Freeman, Professor Sarah Freeman, our theater history professor. Okay. So more than 40,000 people would come and see these dead bodies per day.
What?
40,000.
Okay, my question is, how many of those people did a double with the morgue and Notre Dame? We're going to pray and then we're going to go look at the dead bodies.
A quick pray and peep.
Yeah. Oh my God, pray and peep. It's disgusting.
Well, it is disgusting.
Okay, yeah.
And a lot of these people were actually British tourists. A lot of British tourists would come over to see this morgue. So here's who we've got going to the morgue. We've got foreign tourists.
Is this why the British hate the French?
Why the British hate the French is a whole other episode where we both do parts on why the British hate the French, because the British hate the French and the French hate the British for many reasons. But I suppose this probably doesn't help.
Sorry, who's coming to this thing?
Okay, so we've got foreign tourists, mostly British, curious children, workers who are just on their lunch break looking for something to do, and bored elderly people, as well as fashionable women. Mm-hmm. So that's, if you would like to take a look, that's every corner of society.
That's the who's who of Paris.
Yeah, I wrote, basically everyone came to chill out there because it's a morgue and it's cold.
Ba-dum-bum.
Chill. So before they were displayed, the bodies were stripped, inspected, and then frozen. So before 1882, which is when they had the refrigeration system installed, remember that water I was talking about? It's ice water that's being dripped down onto the bodies, and it would give the skin of the dead a bloated and puffy look.
Ew.
I'm sorry.
And the Seine is a gross river.
Oh, yeah.
So just full of poop.
That river be nasty.
Sorry.
That's okay. So the bodies were kept on display for about 3 days, after which a photograph was taken and a wax cast death mask of their face. The bodies would be displayed naked with their clothes hung up next to them. So if you could recognize, here's the thing that I don't get, why they wouldn't just, I mean, I guess if you had a birthmark or something that was in a strange place, I know that's Tommy because he's got a birthmark right next to his Beppis. But I don't understand why they have to be naked, especially because, clothes could be pretty distinctive in the time. A lot of people would only have one or two sets of clothes because textiles were hard to make before the Industrial Revolution. So having clothes with them is important, just a little bit of fashion history for identification, but I don't know why they had to be naked.
Well, yeah, can you put a sheet over them or something? Like, God.
Well, they wouldn't do a sheet, but a pair of green curtains were hung on either side of the glass. So it was basically set up like a theater. That's why I mentioned that, because there were literally curtains that they would unveil the dead. Ta-da! Corpses.
Wow. Huh. What kind of play is this?
A gross one. A very gross one.
Yeah, is this bad improv?
Bad improv sometimes feels like watching a bunch of corpses. But
Okay.
so,
yeah.
So the Paris newspapers at the time would really stoke the interest of the morgue because they would print the sensational stories of the victims. In one article of a publication in 1886, they wrote a story of a 4-year-old girl who was found dead with a mysterious bruise on her hand. And the crowd outside the Paris morgue was so chaotic and large that it stopped traffic.
Wow.
And an angry mob formed outside the morgue and broke down the doors to get in to see this little girl.
To identify her, or just because they were furious that somebody had killed a kid?
I think both. I think they were like, what if I know who it is? And also, holy shit, how could someone do that? I gotta look at it.
Yeah, maybe they think, oh, maybe it's my kid or some. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I can see why emotions would be really high, but continue, sorry.
Yeah, and she became known as the Infant de la Rue des Verts Bois, and she was seen by over 150,000 people.
Did anybody identify her?
Not to my knowledge.
Damn.
I know. And it's kind of fucked because of the guarantee of daily crowds to this one place, there would be street vendors selling oranges and drinks and whatever else they thought that people could need. So you're just lining up outside of the morgue to see some gruesome victim. And meanwhile, there's a guy over here who's like, oranges, you want an orange? And this other guy's like, fix your shoes for 5 pence. So it's a weird mood.
Yeah, that's the snacks you get before going into the theater.
Yeah,
I guess. Yes. I'm just gonna keep making parallels.
Sure. Well, I mean, this is a little bit theatery. This is a quote from an 1885 story for the Crimson that an American writer wrote that described a trip to the morgue. Quote, men are crowding and elbowing each other. Old hags are pointing towards the glass and croaking to one another. Pretty women are gazing with white faces of pity, but with none the less thirsty greediness upon the fascinating spectacle. Little children are being held aloft in strong arms that they too may see the dreadful thing. And they do see, and they toss their tiny waving arms aloft and crow in right gleefulness.
Oh, no, you're turning that child into a weird, what's the word, sociopath?
I mean, quite possibly. But a thing that I will also bring up to you is that death was a lot closer to these people than we are to it.
Of course. Yeah, it's a little different. There were probably still public executions going on too.
Absolutely. Rampant disease. People died mostly at home. So people were no stranger to death itself. It's the gruesome nature of the death that they want to see. They don't want to see a run-of-the-mill grandma in a bed peacefully passing. They would like to see someone who's lost part of their body.
Sure.
So everyone was getting involved in the morgue. Parisian newspapers often speculated on identities of victims, which is fun, especially if the people were still alive. Also, in every guidebook printed at the time, there was a section on the morgue advising you to go. There were many bodies that became famous over the times that people, like you said, would go in multiple times to see the same body. it influenced artistic movements of the time. There were a lot of, these paintings make me mad, but there are a lot of paintings of deceased young women lying on dissection tables. And it's like a fetishization of death that I don't love.
And of the female body.
Yes, that's why it's disturbing to me, is because it's those two things together.
Yuck.
And to know that that was a sight that people really saw all the time kind of fucks me up. But the best part of the morgue, in my opinion, is how it was used by law enforcement, because the police would often stage what are called confrontations between suspected murderers and the corpse of the murder victim. Ooh, drama.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
And they would do this in front of the crowds. They would be like, look at your victim, look at your victim. And can you imagine if you are not the killer?
That would be horrifying. Can you imagine being in the crowd watching that, just like, oh my God, you're eating an orange, like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
This is the most excitement I've had in 2 months.
I thought it was exciting when that guy fixed my shoes.
Yeah. This is 10 times better.
Yeah. So these confrontations were so common that in 1888, the Paris morgue installed electric lights with the idea of increasing the effectiveness of these like on the spot interrogations. And the tactic seems to have actually worked. It's recorded that they caught a couple of people by doing this.
I mean, yeah, I kind of see that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But kind of the most notorious corpse of them all was this young woman known as l'Incontute de la Seine.
Okay, something in the river.
Yeah.
The Seine River.
This was a young woman who had been found in the river. It is suspected that she died by suicide, unfortunately. But when she was brought into the morgue, everyone was really entranced by the fact that she has this kind of like, they describe it as like a Mona Lisa-esque smile to her. Like she hadn't been decomposing, for very long. So she still looked just like a person. And they made a cast of her face. And this like cast of her face, and a lot of people think that this cast is not actually of her, it's of a living person, because it's a very famous cast. Let me send it to you really quickly.
Please.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't save it.
It's okay. My landlord just texted me asking if I want to renew my lease.
What are you gonna say?
It's a no. But I have decided I'm staying in Washington.
Oh, yay!
I think I want to move to like a little bit maybe outside the city, like Kirkland or something where I could have a little more space and a cat.
Yes, a kitty.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sending you this picture now.
Great. Ooh. I don't
seeing it?
Yeah, I'm on the Wikipedia page. Her face is so creepy. It's like I don't like her weird little thin-lipped smile.
Well, apparently a lot of people did like her little thin-lipped smile.
Oh no, why?
I don't know, because she's a young woman and you can't just let young women be dead. It's not, they're not allowed to just be dead. They have to be sexy and dead and intriguing and dead. They can't just be dead. Sorry. You can see where parts of this piss me off.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it was estimated that she was about 15 or 16 years old.
Oh God, yeah, she looks really young.
Yeah, and her remains have remained unidentified. So we don't know where she comes from. She might be from Germany, from Russia, from England, but people were very into this picture. Like there have been so many copies made of this mask. It became a real trend. And in the US, it became a thing that people would have pictures of in their houses. people bought copies of this mask. And you might actually recognize her face because in the 1960s, her face was used as the inspiration for the first CPR dummy, Rescue Anne.
So random, but cool.
Yeah. Paris Morgue ended up closing its doors to the public in 1907. So that would be 100 years of looking at dead people.
Damn.
So that was the Paris Morgue. And you might think to yourself, Sophie, this kind of barbaric looking at dead people and their parts, it must be out of fashion, you know? Other people must not do this anymore. That would be barbaric. But I'm going to send you your topic right now. Check your email.
Oh my God. I also want to point out, because we didn't cover this at the top, it was a bit, we planned for me to not have my research done.
No,
We've done this before in episode 15. So check that out if you haven't heard episode 15 before.
Yeah, I love this format because I didn't tell Katelyn anything about what she's going to be talking about.
No.
Our topics are a little bit linked. So if she's a keen eye, she might know what she's talking about. But
no, not yet. Okay, here we go.
Are you in? Have you hacked into the mainframe?
I'm here. I apparently am going to be talking about Gunther von Hagens and his plastinarium.
Yeah!
What in the hell is a plastinarium? You might ask yourself. I know, of course. I don't. I'm going to say my sources real quick. We got 3 articles from Wikipedia. We got an article from Wired. We got an article from Vice and plastinarium.com. Okay. Oh, and then NPR. Okay, who is this dude? Is what the note says. And I'm dying to know.
We all are. Please illuminate us.
Here's a little bit of background. He was born. Okay, here we go. Gunther Gerhard Liebchen in Alt-Skladen, now called Skal Mierzixie near Ostrowo Reichsgau Warthland, which is in German annexed Poland. What language is this?
Oh, you're going to have to get through a lot of German.
Okay, so Gunther is in German annexed Poland.
Yes, that's important.
He's 5 days old. Oh my God. And that's too young for whatever's about to happen.
Oh, it is.
And his parents take him on a 6-month trek west to escape the imminent Soviet occupation. So then Gunther grows up in East Germany. A hemophiliac is the next bullet point. It's not funny. I'm not laughing that he was, no, because it says a hemophiliac as a child. Hey, Alexei Romanov. So he's a hemophiliac. He spends 6 months in the hospital after an injury. And then this is when he gets interested in medical science. And in 1965, he begins medical studies at the University of Jena.
Jena?
Jena. Jena has a university, apparently.
Good for her.
Yeah. And this is cool. While at the university, he began to question communism and socialism. So he participated in student protests against the 1968 invasion of, I know this one, Czechoslovakia by Warsaw Pact troops. No, that's it. Okay, sorry.
That's the end of the sentence.
That's the point. And then in January 1969, disguised as a vacationing student, von Hagens made his way across Bulgaria and Hungary, and on the 8th of January attempted to cross the Czechoslovakian border into Austria. He failed, but made a second attempt the next day at another location along the border. Oh, and he goes to jail for 2 years.
Yeah.
For this. Sorry, guy.
Sorry, guy.
Oh, God. So then he finally gets to go to West Germany after, I guess, he was in jail. And he continued his medical studies in Lübeck and got his doctorate in 1975 from the University of Heidelberg.
Heidelberg.
I love German. I
Yeah.
think I'm a little bit German.
We all are.
So, yeah, probably. So he makes it to West Germany in 1970. He gets married to Cornelia. Yes, Cornelia von Higgins, and chose to appropriate her noble-sounding name. His given name is Liebchen. Oh, so he took her name.
Yeah, he took her name.
That's rad. They had 3 children, but the marriage soured. Sorry. The marriage gets sour.
Sour, baby.
Sorry, that sucks. Oh God, when his experiments with plastination drove the family into debt, and it fell apart when he oh God, damn it, falls apart when he starts seeing someone else, a young woman in his dissection seminar named Andrea Wally. So he didn't like fall in love with his secretary, but it's still kind of cliche, right?
But kind of, a little bit.
Yeah. So he gets a divorce. He and Cornelia divorce, but he keeps her name. And he's married. No, I don't know.
He
and
does.
Then he does. Oh my God. So he marries Andrea 3 years later in 1992. At his request, his new wife changed her name to Angelina. What? Why? The note actually says, what?
What?
Why?
Why? I don't know. That's not entirely relevant to the story, but I thought it was really bonkers and I had to put it in.
Oh, hell yeah.
Why did he make her change her first name? That's nuts to me.
That's just that's so controlling. And yeah, I mean, I was on his side when he took his wife's last name, but I feel like, why did he do it for her and not for Andrea? And he made Andrea change her name.
He's weird. A complex dude. He's a complex dude, you'll come to see.
Yeah, he's got some boundary issues.
Yeah.
So why are we talking about this guy? That's a good question that I ask listener. I'd like to know too. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. I got distracted. Okay. So in 1979, he applied for a German patent proposing the idea of preserving animal and vegetable tissues permanently by synthetic resin impregnation. And then it says, oh, that doesn't clear it up for you?
It didn't for me.
No. He is the inventor of plastination. Oh no. And the founder of Body Worlds. Yeah, that Body Worlds. Body Worlds. Whose German title is Körperwelten. Yeah, so you have to be mad when you say it. Mm-hmm. Is a traveling exposition of dissected human bodies, animals, and other anatomical structures of the body that have been preserved through the process of plastination. Oh my God. Body Worlds has received more than 47 million visitors, which makes it the world's most popular touring attraction. And have I ever seen it? Yes, I have.
What does the note say?
Have you ever seen it? Yes, you have. Talk about that. Yeah, so clearly you chose this topic because I told you about my middle school field trip to Body Works. Yes. Or Body Worlds. I thought it was called Body Works.
Me too, and I kept saying that to my mom, and she was like, there's dead people in the candles? And I'm like, no.
Okay, Body Worlds. Okay, that's so funny. I saw it at OMSI, which is the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, on a field trip in middle school. And I thought it was awesome, but maybe I'm going to hate it after this. I don't know.
Well, I bet you did think it was awesome. Like it's pretty cool and it's pretty stunning to see all the different specimens and just stuff, though you're going to tell me about some of it now.
Oh my God. I remember somebody kept like pointing out the balls on every corpse. And I was just like, really?
Come
That is
on.
so immature.
I was looking on one website where they had blurred out one woman's, exposed breast tissue. And I was like, come on. Like anyone's going to be fapping into that. Sorry.
Oh,
But
yeah,
can they
that is opening up a can of worms.
Again, can we let women be peacefully dead?
Yes, good question. Okay, so how did Von Hagen build his corpse empire? That's a good question.
Yeah.
So it starts in the early 1990s with a derelict factory in the small German village of Guben, which I want to go to there.
Guben.
So Gunther lives in Guben.
Yeah,
And he wanted to transform the factory into a space to preserve human specimens after their death. I guess a noble
he needed
goal.
lab space. Yeah.
Okay. So for the first 20 years, plastination was used to preserve small specimens for medical study. And then it wasn't until the early 1990s that the equipment was developed to make it possible to plastinate whole body specimens. Ooh, each specimen takes up to 1,500 man-hours to prepare.
Yikes.
That's a lot of work. God.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a lot of, well, okay, cool. His lab is called the Plastinarium.
Will you please read it as it's written?
He used this lab called the Plastinarium to perfect his plastination technique.
Plastinarium is in all caps.
And underlined. How does plastination work? Buckle up for some real science shit. Oh, my favorite subject. Okay.
I just want to say I was on the phone with Grace while I was preparing this research, and I was copy pasting, and I kept going, ooh, oh no. And she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm going to make Caitlin read some science ass shit.
I'm about to just kick it into high gear. Okay, here we go. There are 4 steps used in the standard process of plastination. So fixation, dehydration, forced impregnation in a vacuum,
Ugh.
and hardening. Okay. Okay, gross. The first step is fixation. Frequently uses a formaldehyde-based solution and serves 2 functions. Formaldehyde or other preserving solutions help prevent decomposition of the tissues. Yeah, that's pretty important right now if we want to display this. They also add a bit of rigidity. This is good for maintaining the shape or arrangement of a specimen. So, for example, it's helpful for setting limbs in place, bending arms and legs and stuff.
You can see where I have added some of my own flavor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So after any necessary dissections have taken place, the specimen is placed in a bath of acetone. Oh my God. The volume of the bath should be 10 times that of the specimen. The acetone, okay.
Just think about that. Think about how much liquid is 10 times the amount of person, or in some cases, 10 times the amount of giant animal.
Yeah. Like, do they do this in a big swimming pool or something?
Keep reading.
Okay. Keep going. Okay. The volume of the bath should be 10 times that of the specimen. That acetone is renewed 2 times over the course of 6 weeks. The acetone draws out all the water and replaces it inside the cells. Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're at the third step, where the specimen is placed in a bath of liquid polymer, such as silicone rubber, polyester, or epoxy resin. And by creating a vacuum, the acetone is made to boil at a low temperature. I'm kind of following this.
Yeah.
As the acetone vaporizes and leaves the cells, it draws the liquid polymer in behind it, leaving a cell filled with liquid plastic.
So basically the vacuum is drawing out the fluids and stuff is boiling off, and then the plastic or the silicone is replacing those liquids and preserving the tissue.
Yeah. The plastic must then be cured with gas, heat, or UV light to harden it. Okay.
Made me think of a manicure.
Yes, like shellac. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. A specimen can vary from a full human body to a small piece of an animal organ, and they are known as plastinates. This word is crazy. Once plastinated, the specimens and bodies are further manipulated and positioned prior to curing, aka hardening of the polymer chains.
So you have a little bit of a window to set them up how you want them before they harden up.
Yep. And then they're stuck that way, it sounds like.
And then that's them done and dusted.
Yes.
As one might say.
The Plastinarium is like a museum with 16,500 corpses that have been given new life using plastination. Oh, you can go and watch them plastinating people before your very eyes, but not right now because COVID.
Mm-hmm. If you go on the Plastinarium website, they will regrettably inform you that you cannot come to the Plastinarium.
Yeah, we're closed right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it. Okay, this is a quote from an article called The Plastinarium of Dr. Von Hagens by Daniel Engber that describes what it's like to visit the Plastinarium and see some of Von Hagen's process. Okay, this is a long monologue. Here we go. Let me take a sip of water.
Yeah, take a sip of water. I got carried away doing your research. It's fine.
Oh my God, I love Spindrift. Okay. Quote, he spent $50 million to turn this rundown site into a global headquarters for his Body Worlds exhibits, fitted out with tanks of acetone for defatting tissue, high-tech freezers, and a morgue. Sure. In one corner of the yard, a refrigerated warehouse holds a bandsaw big enough to rip an elephant in half. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You can take that again if you want, but it's going to say the same thing.
In just a corner of the yard, this sentence starts out pretty normal. In a corner of the yard, a refrigerated warehouse holds a bandsaw big enough to rip an big enough to rip an elephant in half. In another, the carcass of a giraffe lies at the bottom of a swimming pool. Called it. Its spots turned pale in a solution of ethanol and water. The animal's tail is tucked between its legs and its neck lies along the pool's diagonal. The only way it fits. Yeah, damn. The giraffe is being kept pliable for dissection, but it could just as soon have been frozen whole and sliced into millimeter-thick sheets. What? Preserved with plastic, these could end up in lecture halls or museum displays or added to an archive in the room upstairs where parts of animals and people are kept in bins marked brain and foot and scrotum. That's an end quote there.
Yeah, so I know that was a pretty long quote, but I thought that really painted a great image of what it would be like to be in the yard of this workshop of absolute horrors.
Wow, yes.
And you were so spot on with the swimming pool.
Damn, thank you. Maybe because I did swim team. Okay, so the first exhibition of whole bodies was displayed in Japan in 1995. Over the next 2 years, Von Hagens developed his first Body Worlds exhibition showing whole bodies plastinated in lifelike poses and dissected to show various structures and systems of human anatomy, which has since met with public interest and controversy in more than 50 cities around the world. Yeah, I bet. Because this would not be everybody's cup of tea. Like,
it's not. I'm not even sure it's my cup of tea, to be honest. And
yeah.
I wrote this, so like,
right.
I mean, I didn't write it, I compiled it, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, some people could think of it as like insulting to the dead, or I don't know. I don't really, but I could see I could see somebody making that argument.
Yeah, we'll talk a little controversy later.
Okay. So the Body Worlds exhibit states that its purpose and mission is the education of lay people about the human body, leading to better health awareness. Yeah, that's good. In an interview with Vice, Von Hagen's son, who runs the Plastinarium now, said, quote, "The Plastinarium is a way to carry out his father's desire to democratize anatomy." That's interesting. Making the entire human body accessible to anyone who has the stomach to see it. Meanwhile, the thousands of body donors who participate know that their flesh and bones have a life after death. End quote. Cool.
Yeah, I thought that that was interesting because doing this research, I thought to myself, what, other than making teaching specimens, which he does, what is his motive for doing this? Why did he want to do this? And, I think his son puts it really well. His whole thing was the study of anatomy and making it accessible to everyone.
Yeah, I like that. I like the phrase democratize anatomy. That's really interesting.
Take something that seems very highbrow and out of the range of anyone who doesn't have medical training and says, see, look, this is your body. You have one of these. Like, you are allowed to know about it.
Yeah, yeah. And I like that all of the plastinites are from people who donated their body via a body donations program. My note says each Body Worlds exhibition contains approximately 25 full body plastinates with expanded or selective organs shown in positions that enhance the role of certain systems. Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing just like the whole room is full. It's not just like a couple of stations. It's like there's a lot going on in there.
Yeah.
So many of the whole body specimens are partially dissected in the écorché style of the 17th and 18th century European tradition, which is corpses are shown without skin exposing the muscles and veins and other squishy stuff. Gross. While others are sliced in various anatomical planes to permit understanding of anatomical structure.
So, for example, they will give you a cross section of the nervous system or the respiratory system so that you can see the functions of like parts of your body.
Yeah, yeah. So in addition to full people, they have more than 200 specimens of real human organs and organ systems. And these are typically separately displayed in glass cases, some showing various medical conditions. Some of the whole body specimens, such as the Tai Chi Man, demonstrate interventions and include prosthetics such as artificial hip joints or heart valves. Yeah. Why is he the Tai Chi Man? Anyway,
I think he's posed doing Tai Chi.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was about to be like,
it could be racist. We don't know.
Oh, yeah. So at its busiest, the Plastinarium, is that what it's called? Plastinarium?
Yeah, I might have spelled it wrong.
The Plastinarium in Guben, Germany, employed 220 people and created specimens for exhibition, along with those that could be sold to medical schools around the world, limbs and joints for orthopedics, jaws for dentistry, spinal columns for neurology, and $75,000 plastic-filled corpses for general anatomy. Wow.
That's an expensive corpse.
That's a lot of money.
Back in my day, you could go to a graveyard and steal one for yourself.
You just cut a hole behind the headstone and you pull that sucker out.
I'll get you a corpse in 10 minutes. You wait here.
So to produce specimens for a Body Worlds exhibition, Von Hagens employs 340 people at 5 laboratories in 4 different countries. That's impressive. Each laboratory is categorized by specialty, with the China laboratory focusing on animal specimens. The giraffe, which appeared in Body Worlds 3 and the story of the heart, was one of the most difficult specimens to create. That's probably the giraffe in the swimming pool that they were talking about earlier. The giraffe took 3 years to complete, 10 times longer than it takes to prepare a human body. Wow. 10 people were required to move the giraffe because its final weight, like all specimens after plastination, was equal to its original.
Yeah, I think that's probably their most impressive feat, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. Fun fact. The Body Worlds exhibits were featured in a supposed Miami exhibition in the 2006 film Casino Royale.
Yes.
Fuck yeah, James Bond loves Body Worlds.
Keep going. Keep going.
Although the actual location for the exterior shots were the Ministry of Transport in Prague, Von Higgins himself makes a cameo appearance, and can be seen leading a tour past where James Bond kills a villain. I love it.
Isn't that great?
I love it. Okay. Now we're getting to it. This all sounds fine and dandy, my note says, but there is a bit of controversy that goes along with Body Worlds and Von Hagen's work. Yeah, here we go.
This is what I believe you came for.
Yeah, let me take another sip of my Spindrift.
As Rihanna would say, baby, this is what you came for.
Love that song. Love Rihanna. Okay. Religious groups, including representatives of the Catholic Church and some rabbis, have objected to the display of human remains, saying that it is inconsistent with reverence towards the human body. Fair enough. It's easy to see how this can be seen as disrespectful, yes. But remember, most of the corpses chose to be there. Good point, Soph.
Thank you.
You're really telling all sides of this story.
I enjoyed doing this. I don't know if you can tell by the 6 pages of research.
So there have been several reports of corpses in the Body Worlds exhibit being prepared and shown without consent. Oh, God. In January 2004, the German news magazine Der Spiegel made a report. Yeah.
Matter.
Der Spiegel.
Matter.
Der Spiegel. Spiegel.
Yes.
I can't. The German news magazine Der Spiegel made a report based on internal emails and records, as well as statements from Von Higgins that his company had acquired corpses from executed Chinese prisoners. Ooh. That's bad.
It's a bad look, bud. It's a bad look.
Okay, so in response to the article, Von Higgins said that he has told his Chinese employees not to accept bodies that were executed and returned 7 cadavers to China that had head injuries, including at least 2 with bullet holes in the skull. Yikes.
How do you get bodies with bullet holes in the skull and not have a couple of questions?
Yeah.
That's just my thing.
Ugh.
They already had the bodies. That's the thing. They already had them.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guy.
Ugh.
Come on,
Whoa.
guy. I see you, guy.
So in 2002, 2 Russian doctors from the University of Novosibirsk.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know.
Were charged with illegally supplying Von Higgins with 56 bodies, including convicts, homeless people, and mentally ill people without consent from their relatives. Von Higgins said that none of the body parts were used in the Body Worlds exhibitions. Bodies from the Kyrgyz. Oh my God. How would you even say this? Kyrgyz. Kyrgyz State Medical Academy. That word is a curse. Were also found to have been obtained illegally in 2005. So they are getting a little bit Birkin hair.
Yes.
Here. Okay.
That's the part of this that's a real bummer is kind of some of these instances of them not being careful enough with their acquisitions.
Definitely. Okay. Consent is not regulated worldwide according to the same ethical standards, raising ethical concerns. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Paperwork is separated. This is a quote. Paperwork is separated from the bodies, which can be used for displays or sold in pieces to medical schools. No one will know for sure because each plastinated corpse is made anonymous to protect its privacy. And this was said by Hans Martin Sass, a philosophy professor with a specialty in ethics. And he was hired by the California Science Center to investigate Body Worlds before the show's US debut in 2004. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he matched over 200 donation forms to death certificates, but he did not match the paperwork to specific bodies Von Higgins had on display.
So basically, he was able to match most of the specimens that they had to paperwork for those people, but there were some specimens that he was not able to match with paperwork.
Yikes.
And because part of the deal is that after you're donated, you remain anonymous, you know, your skin is taken off. It's not very easy to recognize someone without their actual face.
Yeah.
So it's hard to track these kind of things down. And this is something I want to talk more about in another episode, but like international remains trafficking is a real problem in the world. And it's something we should just be more aware of.
Yeah, we should cover that. So back to my notes. Despite these controversies, Body Worlds has been incredibly successful worldwide and provided valuable teaching tools to countless medical institutions. Yeah, so it's kind of got some pros and some cons.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of things in life, it's a gray area.
Mm-hmm.
So Von Hagens has said that his grand goal is the founding of a, quote, museum of man, where exhibits of human anatomy can be permanently showed. He is on record as commenting that after death, he plans to donate plastinated wafers of his body to several universities so that in death, he can physically teach at several locations, something that he cannot do while alive.
I thought that was kind of fun.
It's an interesting goal to have.
Yeah.
Oh, this is sad. In January 2011, he announced that he was dying from Parkinson's and that after his death, his wife would plastinate his body and put his preserved corpse on display as part of the Body World exhibitions. In an interview with The Guardian, Angelina, so the wife that changed her name to Angelina way back at the beginning, spoke about her husband's desire for his own gestalt plastinate to wear a fedora at the entrance of one of his museums. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder if he gets his fedora. So this is a quote from The Plastinarium of Dr. Von Hagens by Daniel Engber again.
Yeah.
I remember him. Von Hagen's wife explains how she felt when he told her that he wanted to be plastinated himself. Quote, I felt shocked, she continues, and I said, no, I never can. But he insisted, and we sometimes talked about it. I don't know that I like this. This guy's kind of pushy with people.
Yeah.
He calmed me down. You wouldn't have to do it immediately. You could put me in the freezer, Jesus, but not more than 1 year because then I'd get those freezer burns. God, what the fuck? This is so matter of fact.
I needed this quote in this because
of course.
A man telling his wife, don't let my corpse get freezer burned. I want to punch him in the face. Be like, bitch, you never eat the leftovers.
Like, it's so condescending.
It is a little condescending, but also just so funny and matter of fact that like, oh, you don't have to do it right away. You can freeze me for a while, but not too long. Okay. I don't want to get freezer burn.
Yeah. He's like, you'll probably be sad. So I'll give you a year.
You will view death as others do, not as I do.
Yeah. So although the future of Body Worlds is uncertain, mostly due to the pandemic and the many ethical controversies, we know that come hell or high water, this guy is going to be well preserved when he dies. So he hasn't died yet? No.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Good. Great.
Yeah, he ain't dead yet.
So, okay, one last thing. Oh, God. I don't know what this is going to be. Von Hagens once danced while costumed as a plastinate, which is one of his preserved corpses, in Berlin's famous Love Parade. I just wanted everyone to know this happened and picture it. The end.
Yay!
Wow. Nice job. No, nice job to you. That was fun. Oh my God.
So yeah, we had been talking about Bodyworks, and I thought that it would be interesting to fill you in on what exactly you saw.
Yeah, and we both really think it's called Bodyworks, but it's not.
Body Worlds! Body Worlds! Why do we want it to be Bath and Body Works?
I know, we really like soaps and candles, of course, so.
Made of dead people.
No.
No Fight Club.
No, I don't want a hand of glory. No, thank you.
I kind of do.
I know you do.
I've told you I have a tattoo of a skeleton hand on one of my forearms, and I think on the other side I want to get like a hand of glory done in the same style. So I do want a hand of glory, just not a real one.
Okay. Just a tattoo, not a dead man's fat candle.
I don't know. I could find a use for it. You're always giving me your trash, and I find a use for it.
Yeah, but I'm alive.
It's true. All right. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the topic I chose for you.
Yeah, action packed.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit today about human fascination with our own bodies and how, from the Paris morgue to body worlds, we will not stop being fascinated by this, and we will not stop wanting to look at dead people.
And that is a beautiful thesis for this episode.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do remember seeing this Body Worlds exhibition and feeling an equal sense of fascination and like horror. And especially being like a kid, I'm sure that we had to get permission from our parents to go to this.
Yeah. That's another kind of controversy, is that they have programs and like pre-written, what's it called, curriculums, syllabuses, stuff like that. For like the field trips kids take, but a lot of kids are a little bit traumatized by it.
Yeah,
because it's like, it's pretty gory, and I guess if your parents don't clock that might fuck you up,
good luck to you.
Good luck to you. I told you I was fucked up by a plastic arm my dad poked me with, so like I don't think I could have done Body Worlds.
Yeah, I think when I went, there was maybe an elephant plastinate, but I don't quite remember.
I think they do have an elephant.
Yeah. Wow. I can't tell if this made me want to go back or not. It maybe didn't. Maybe I just wanted to stay in 8th grade memory.
I don't know. Parts of me want to see it for myself, because the reading about the process was so interesting to think about. Like, I like to watch those resin pours on Instagram, like people making.
Oh yeah, those are
cool things.
So soothing.
They really are. But now imagine
oh god,
that it's a person.
Yeah.
It's shit. So it's like thinking about that, but also, we could go back and forth on this all day about whether or not it's respectful, about whether or not it's, the value of it outweighs, the shock value of it, the educational value versus like, one of the things that I read about when I was reading the stuff about the Paris morgue was like that people were like, oh, this corrupts our morality by seeing the dead. And there was also a lot of stuff about like men looking at naked dead women and how that would arouse them, and women seeing naked dead bebuses and what that would do to them.
Yeah.
Which clearly the guy pointing out all the balls was affected.
Yeah, the kid in my class that was looking at all the balls and telling everybody about him clearly is in that same vein.
I swear to God, that guy was also there in Paris, though. There was that one guy who was like, oh, that's balls, Jerome. He likes to look at the balls and just point them out to people. No, I don't think he's gay. I just think he likes to point the balls out.
There's always one in every group.
Yeah. There's always a balls, Jerome.
Anyway.
I shouldn't think Jeremy, but French.
Jerome,
I am here for the testicles.
I don't know where we've gone.
I love you. Thank you for trusting me to write words for you to say.
I loved it. It was fun. Thank you for letting me enjoy my time with my parents and my family. And you deserve show up.
Yeah, you deserve to get crunk with your mom.
We didn't get too crunk, but it was really nice to give her a squeeze and spend Mother's Day together. Part of it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I hope you listening have a great rest of your day. We love you. Thanks for listening. And of course, you can go find pictures of these horrific things that we've been talking about on the Instagram. I'm sure, Katelyn, that'll still be your job. So you will still have to find those pictures.
Yeah, I'll get right on that. I will definitely post the picture of that poor teenager death mask. That was haunting.
Yeah. And check out the website for the same
everything
stuff.
else.
Yeah. Send us
that again.
You plug the website. Why
Okay.
did you plug the website?
Let's see. I think that you all should go to anythingbonespodcast.squarespace.com and say, hey, I have a bone idea, and you guys should talk about bone disease.
And,
a bone disease.
And while you're at it, like, totally leave us like a review. Like 5 stars would be great. Like 4 stars is 5 stars is great.
Yeah, we're still, in all seriousness, we are still new. We're still getting our little feetsies out underneath us. So help us by writing a review on Apple Podcast or Stitcher or wherever you can write reviews. We love you.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. Are you ready?
1, 2, 3.
3. Bon voyage.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Anything Bones. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Anything Bones Podcast, or email us at anythingbonespodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you to Nick Kruger for our spooky music and Stephen Vetteroff
at Chubby Scrubby on Twitter
for our jazzy vocals, and thank you to Camilla Franklin
at Camilla Strader on Instagram
for our beautiful bony artwork. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Tada! Corpses.